That is where the game lies. I sincerely feel if I've been called for this event, one is skill set, like degree, all those things are there for sure. But then there's also visibility that I was like, popping on everyone's social media feed in some way or the other. That's where I caught your attention in some way. That's one thing which people have to work. Else, I've seen like teachers, trainers, counselors, coaches really good with their skill set, with their experience, but then they're not reaching to the right audience. So you're doing injustice by not reaching out to them. That's your responsibility as a coach, as a counselor.
Thanks, Devas. So the next question that comes to my mind is that specifically in a country like India, where every parent, every uncle, every auntie, school teacher, and your neighbor is a career counselor, right? Then can you actually build a model around charging people for counseling, charging people as a career coach? How difficult is to build that model around the field of guidance? So maybe Richa, your thoughts followed by Deva's thoughts, right?
Well, I have been able to successfully build that, and we do a lot of one-to-one career guidance, which is, we have like a 3.5 hour long one-to-one module that me and one of my lead counselors would run, and we charge, very representatively for it. So we charge quite well for it. It has built through referrals. I think that when we started off, that time we were just charging 15,000 rupees for one career guidance session. That at that time, in 2015, when I started working retail, till then I was just working with schools, which is frankly quite low paid, and also didn't give me so much satisfaction because we didn't talk so much with the parents and the kids. It seemed to be very factory kind of processing. Once we started working retail and we were charging what was at that time really the top pricing in the market, it was not easily accepted by too many people, but we really grew fast. Our trajectory was very sharp, and I think that was because of the effort we spent in each session to create outcomes for each child. So really to understand and really to guide the student. So we did two things right, I think. One is that, we promise them that you can come back to us if there is any change in your thought, that you can keep referring to us if you need something. Now, many students don't need to do that. They have one session, they have a follow-up session. They say, fine, I got it, wait, I'm doing corporate law. Thank you, data analytics, I'm getting into it, right? So that was great. But then there would be certain students, like one kid who was really passionate about merchant navy. So then he said that, but isme scope kitna hai? So we connected him to, education institutes that were teaching them marine engineering. We connected him to existing merchant navy professionals for them to really get an understanding. So we walked with them for a certain distance till it got figured out. So that we didn't want to leave any student without a complete solution. So I think that was, one thing that really, really worked well. And I think the other thing that worked well is that as a career counselor, sometimes it's very difficult to have the confidence to make a decision, right? Like if you tell the kid that that let's say something simple like that, should you study economics or should you study psychology, right? Now, it's a very similar kind of student, right? Except that one is very good at math and one is saying that I'm okay with math, it's not something I really like, I prefer talking with people, right? And the parents are saying, eco karao, wo finance karega, eco mein scope hai, right? Now, as a counselor, for me to have the confidence to point out to the parents that, see, math is really going to be difficult. If you see your students already struggling in class 10, let them do it in class 11 and 12, but that world of finance is full of people who love numbers, and it's very competitive. So if you put your child who is just about okay with numbers, then they'll get chewed up over there. This kid is too sensitive. Look at them being in a field where they will actually gain from their sensitivity. So to build that confidence took me time, of just having the confidence to be able to say that I insist, or, I would never insist, but at least to say with more confidence that this is why I think this is more suited to. So actually to guide, rather than to say, ki, haan, theek hai beta, do whatever you feel like. If that's what you want to do, very good, very good. I find a lot of counselors fall into that trap, and that's primarily because you don't want to upset the parent, or, you want to finish that thing quickly. You know, so actually to have the confidence to guide the kid, and I think that was something that really worked. So that's sort of what distinguishes you from the average uncle or auntie next door who's just following their own pet theme and saying ki biotech kar lo, computer science kar lo, you know, of actually having the confidence and the knowledge. That's really, I think, what made it.
Devas, your point of view.
I drove from Dehradun this morning, and on the way, I had two options. One was to ask any person on the roadside, कि भैया यहाँ से right लूँ या फिर left लूँ. Another one was that lady on the Google who said, go straight and take a right. Similarly, people would be there around us who will give us free का ज्ञान. बहुत सारा ज्ञान मिलेगा, मुझे भी मिला है. And there will be like tools like Career Guide and other like platforms where you'll get the right direction. It just saves your time. When you can establish a brand around it, when you can like position yourself around these offerings, that's where you run a business. If you think कि हाँ advice तो available है, Google पे जाओ मिल जाएगा, go on YouTube मिल जाएगा, absolutely. These are the like your counter questions from the parents or the kids. But then you are the one who's distinguishing that, see, I save your time, I save your energy, else you can stop by any you know, like roadside and like ask them कि मैं कहाँ जाऊँ. So you can reach, but are you willing to sacrifice that energy, that time, that effort, like figuring it out? I spent 4 years studying engineering because even I never had arts as an option in my school days. अगर आप बहुत अच्छे हो तो sciences, अगर average हो तो commerce, अगर arts हो तो school से बाहर. That's Brightlands from Dehradun, best for the academics. However, today I feel that I was born to be in the field of psychology. उस समय it was Shimo like, oh, how can you even say arts करना है? So it was a social status कि आसपास के जो शर्मा uncle होते हैं, like Gupta uncle, any uncle, you know, for that matter, no person as such. These things do play a role. So for the business perspective, we as coaches and counselors have to be very clear that what I'm offering might be available in plenty. However, there is a position, there is a value which you are adding, and be very strong on it. Having this conviction that, see, I make your life a lot easier, and that's where I charge a premium. A lot of coaches lose the ground over there. कि अरे इसमें क्या बड़ी बात थी? बहुत बड़ी बात थी. If I'm having fever and if doctor says कि try this, that's a like customized solution. To add to the discussion, I was working on my fitness. I ignored my health for a long time, and eventually I had to sign up for a fitness or health coach. He calls up and asks the Devas, क्या किया इस हफ्ते, कैसा रहा progress? That accountability makes me like stay on the path. Similarly, as a coach, as a counselor, if you can do that, people will pay you for it. So running a business around this field is completely fine. कहीं ना कहीं लगता है कि education और business हो. लोगों में acceptance नहीं आती है. They don't accept कि आप शिक्षा को बेच रहे हैं. And educators are like, हम लोग कुछ गुनाह कर रहे हैं. नहीं. It's a service, sir. Kindly take pride in what you're doing. That will help you be more aggressive and charge whatever you want to charge. That's my saying.
Sure. Thanks. So the next question that comes to my mind. Hello. Yeah. So the next question that comes to my mind is a lot of career counselors, career coaches, they come to me and they tell me that, see, we are brilliant at what we do. I'm an excellent coach, but I fail to market myself. I don't know how to build an audience that would buy or come to me for career guidance. So as a career coach, how do you market yourself? And obviously, like you said, there's always this doubt in your mind that can I beat my own trumpet, right? And how do you kind of draw that line of balance wherein you're marketing yourself and reaching out to the right audience? Maybe Richa.
Thank you, Pranav. So actually, I have really had to learn that very much the hard way, because I started the business because I was passionate about career counseling. And even though I had studied business from IIM Ahmedabad, but I don't think I'm cut out to be a business person in that sense. I'm a more passionate counselor than a passionate business person. So I have had to teach myself how to build a business around this. And I'm happy to share a couple of things that I've learned to answer your question, that how do you build a brand around yourself. So I think two things. One that I learned is networking, right? So for the first part of my career, of my business, when I was working mostly with schools, my selling used to be very direct. I used to call up people, fix up meetings and go, and then I would sell in that meeting. And plus, I'm introverted, so I'm not very good at small talk. So I would sit down for the business meeting and I'd say, so, we are here to talk about it. The agenda of today's meeting is, and then I would go on and I would start pitching what I'm saying, right? And, ultimately it becomes a very transactional conversation. And of course, it worked to some extent. तो business चल ही रहा था, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं चल रहा था. But I think that when I moved into the retail model, I had the good fortune of being inducted into a BNI group. Have you heard of BNI? Yeah. So I'm not part of the group now anymore because I found, it didn't totally gel with me for work. But I learned some very critical life lessons from there. And the biggest lesson was about networking. And networking is, I realized it's not about selling, right? It's more about creating trust and creating a network of people who trust you as an individual, right? And it taught me the basic skills of, as an introvert, often I would go, like even today when I came over here, I went and sat in one corner and started doing my work, right? Someone with great networking skills would move around, would meet people and not necessarily start pitching, I'm so-and-so, this is what I do, but create a connect, understand what that person is doing, create a genuine human connect, and then to, perhaps in context share with them what you are doing, right? And as you create that, networking actually has an exponential value that, then one person goes and tells something to 5 people, and then that person tells so many more people. So then I learned the skill of just networking with everybody, being interested in everyone, talking with people, listening to what they are saying, and also the confidence with which I'd share what I'm saying, not with an intention to sell. So I stopped selling. And I more started connecting with people, helping them see how much I love my work, helping them see the confidence and the experience behind it without being attached to getting a sale out of this conversation. And that built the network and the brand that really mattered. So that was one very big thing that worked for me, which I'm happy to share with you. And the second thing, which, actually the universe was very kind to me, that Hachette reached out to me for a book. So wo hua kya ki at that time I was trying PR and I got an article in India Today. And Hachette saw my article in India Today and reached out to me saying, would you write a book on careers? And I put my heart, soul into that book. And it's actually a very readable book. It's got lots of fun facts about different careers. The careers are grouped under skill sets, I love coming up with new ideas. I love puzzle solving. I love caring for people. So then what careers, and students find it very interesting to read. So I find that people sometimes see my book and reach out to me. Like, the Delhi government saw my book and reached out to me and said, why don't we do something together? People gift my book to other people. Even when people come and meet me for an exploratory conversation, I gift my book to them. So that creates that credibility. And that's sort of, these two things have been the most important in creating our brand. Uske alawa hum karte hain wo which everybody does. We do webinars, we try and share knowledge and information in webinars. We don't sit on it saying ki jab aap sign up karoge, tab hum aapko ye sari information denge. We freely share information across webinars, articles, so that brand building is the third thing that carries on, really. Very long answer, sorry.
No, that's fine. Dewas, your thoughts and you're very good at marketing because most people have seen your Facebook ads and people have seen you online, right? So maybe you could give some guidance on how to market yourself.
You need to understand where your audience is. When I coach people, maximum of them are executives from the corporates, and that audience is majorly on LinkedIn. If I am addressing students on LinkedIn, I'm missing the market, right? So you need to be very clear who's your target market, a very common phenomenon in the space of marketing. Use social media. Like Dinesh was talking about the use of technology and the tools. Aptly said, that if you can use social media as a powerful tool, I have been thriving on social media. The last 2 years, offline events were a big off, right? Nobody was meeting in person. However, when you can reach out to a person's mobile phone, that's so personal. I can enter your bedroom without your permission. That's the power of social media, right? I need not say, hi, this is my business card. Not required. Your credibility can be built up. I mean, when you say that, I'm good with my skill set, आपको ज़रूरत नहीं है बताने की. आपका content बोलेगा. People are gonna scan you for sure. Before you being called for anything, people do check. If she has a book, that's a credibility. Authority. Author, authority. Thought process, intellectual leader. हम लोगों से मिलने जाएं और बोलें कि मैं अच्छा हूँ, मुझे बुलाओ, मुझे काम दो. That's selling, hardcore selling. You've done your work. Put in a lot of content. You might think, अरे ये तो मेरा important content है, इसका पैसा बनता है. How can I offer it for free? Please do it. You are blessed with something more deep. If you are shallow, leave the profession. Very clear. When you've been blessed with a lot of empathy and coaching skills, there's a like layer and layer and layer and layer. अगर मैंने कुछ दे भी दिया for free on social media, that's completely fine. You will attract a lot of people who will be asking for your service. It's a personalized thing. That's the market. It is not कि one size fits all, कि factory में बनाया और सबको दे दिया. People will come to you कि मैं क्या करूँ. I watched your video, I read your blog, it was nice, thought-provoking. What should I do? मेरा challenge ना ऐसा है. This lady out here who talked about the background where we come from, that's so true. I cannot advise a student कि जाओ बेटा जी लो अपनी ज़िंदगी. Allow नहीं होता है. He has responsibility, he has a family to feed, वो possible नहीं है. So उसके लिए क्या advice रहेगा वो आप बताओगे. So be liberal enough to share things. And yes, it's kind of a freemium model. If I talk in the business terms, you offer a lot of free content. Advantage, you build your credibility, right? Establish yourself as a thought leader in the industry. And then when people build trust, they come to you.
Thanks a lot, Devas. We are running short of time. So what we can do is we can take some questions from the audience and before we wrap up the panel today. So anybody who would want to ask something? Aishwarya.
First of all, amazing insights. Am I audible? Yes. Yeah. Amazing insights, especially related to the branding and the visibility part, because I'm also working as a business consultant right now. So it's like something I am also pushing the brand to do, because if you're not visible, you don't grow forward, no matter how much team and support you have. My challenge is, so I focus a lot on perfection before going further with any video or before I want to start out. So my question would be more like, when you started out, Divasji, did you really have a team to curate a nice video for you, or you just let it go?
My wife is sitting over here. She will vouch for what I'm going to say in the next few minutes. I am a perfectionist to the core, and I regret it because I waste a lot of time in making things perfect. Ki perfect background, perfect light, मैं कैसा दिख रहा हूँ. Everything should be perfect. फर्क नहीं पड़ता. लोगों को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. It's all in our head that it has to be perfect. Do not waste your energy. If you have a thought process which deserves to be shared with the world, please go ahead and share. यहाँ बैठे बैठे you can create a lot of content. This is an amazing place, right? Go around in the coffee break, wherever you are, pick your smartphone and record. It's about insecurities. I had my insecurities कि मैं दिख कैसे रहा हूँ, मैं बोल कैसे रहा हूँ, क्या ये perfect audio video आ रहा है, नहीं आ रहा है. We often say, right, that people would judge us. ये सुना होगा ना आप लोगों ने? कि we have this fear of public speaking, fear of being noticed, कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे. The irony is that we judge ourselves. The world doesn't. The world doesn't. I have a story of stuttering, stammering all my life. And I was judging myself कि मैं कैसे बोलूँगा. If anyone pokes me कि तू बोल नहीं सकता, I used to get hurt because I judged myself. The day I released myself, my insecurities, I'm like, जो बोलना है बोलो. खुद को judge नहीं कर रहे हो आप, right? So please go full on. This is the right time to build your brand. All guns rolling.
Thank you. Richaji, one more question, very small one. Where do I begin networking? Because where I come from, first of all, career counseling is not seen as a very, क्या बोलते हैं, yes, a lucrative profession. Plus, except for BNI, I don't see a lot of platforms where I can actually go out and network. And right now, I don't have the strength to go to another city like I came here today. But where do I begin networking?
So I wouldn't say you should network with career counselors at all, in fact, क्योंकि वो तो मतलब ही ज़्यादा आपका ही काम की बात नहीं है, right? You have to really be visible to people. So anyone who you meet, networking could be कि कोई बंदा आपके घर इंश्योरेंस बेचने आया है और वो कहता है कि मैम आप क्या करते हैं, तो आप उनको बताएं कि हम ये करते हैं. कोई आपसे पूछता है अच्छा आप करियर काउंसलिंग करते हैं, पता है मेरा बेटा आजकल, दिस हैपेंस ऑल द टाइम. इफ़ यू टेल समवन गलती से भी कि और करियर काउंसलर, तो जैसे डॉक्टर्स के साथ ना, अरे मेरे भी यहाँ कान में दर्द है, वही शुरू हो जाता है कि अरे मेरा बेटा क्लास 12 में है, तो समथिंग. सो देन यू लिसन and you respond and you give some input to them that is of value to them. So networking is about, wherever you go, you've gone to a family function, meet people over there, talk to people and listen to them, understand what they are doing. And if I can give you a BNI tip over here, the main thing in BNI is that they say givers gain, right? Which is that you give things to people. So find out what people are doing, help them. See, aap ye kaam karte ho, I have referred you to you. That's essentially what you helping other people grow their business, and so naturally they want to give back to you कि देखो ऐश्वर्या ने मेरी कितनी मदद की, right? So it's really about just creating a lot of goodwill in the market. So one of the things I learned, for example, I live in this huge community, University in Gurgaon. It's like a very big Gurgaon. It's one of the oldest Gurgaon communities. For a long time, I wouldn't know anyone, no one would know me. कई लोग हैं ऐसे यूनिवर्सिटी में, वो अपना काम करते हैं, अपने फ्लैट में जाके बैठ जाते हैं, उनके अपने दोस्त हैं, अपनी पार्टी करते हैं. They are not really connected with the rest of the community. But like, can you say hello to a person in the lift? Know their name, know who they are. फिर किसी context में हो सकता है आप उनको बताएं कि आप क्या करते हैं. मे बी वो बताएं मेरा बच्चा अभी क्लास 12 का बोर्ड दे रहा है, अच्छा मैंने सुना इस बार 2 बोर्ड्स हैं, काफ़ी मुश्किल है, आई एम अ करियर काउंसलर. इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट, राइट? सो इफ़ यू जस्ट keep in touch with people, just get to know people, that's networking. Just from tomorrow, just start taking a genuine interest in the people around you, creating people should know Aishwarya kaun hai, and they say बहुत अच्छी लड़की है. That's enough. That's what I would say.
Thanks a lot, Richard.
Hi, I'm Jatin Kaushik. I have just recently started career counseling. I have a background of languages. So my question is, and thank you very much for the, very insightful informations. I understood that branding is important, networking is also very important. My question is related to business, ultimately you are networking, you're branding for a business. So how do you make this a successful business, would be my question. So how would you charge? Steps.
Sure. I would unveil all my secrets this afternoon, sir. So I run a Facebook ad where I invite for a masterclass. They pay ₹199 for that masterclass, right? Where I teach them how to communicate effectively, right? So it's a masterclass where you can see me, the way I teach and train, and get the validation, right? Thereafter, I offer them an opportunity to be a part of a full-fledged course for 6 months or 1 year, so that they make an informed choice, right? As I mentioned previously, the social media presence establishes me as a thought leader. I have done my bit, which is work 24/7. Right now I'm sitting over here, but my content is working for me. Someone is watching me, right? My visibility is increasing, right, sir? That is where I earn the money from, where having the masterclass and having the upsell, the course. That's the entire loop. I am not networking much, but I'm doing it socially, as in the social media, right? When you say yeah, please. Yes, because it helps me reach to so many people. I remember this company, Ikigai Learning, started in 2016, जब ये नाम इतना famous नहीं था. Last couple of years, everyone's like Ikigai, but उस time पे nobody knew it. आई रिमेंबर लाइक प्रगति मैदान में जाना एंड अपना बिजनेस कार्ड लेके जाना एंड लोग उसे ऐसे देखते हैं इका गाय आई के गी आई की गाय, क्योंकि एक इंग्लिश वर्ड नहीं है, उसको पढ़ना बहुत डिफिकल्ट था. आज लोगों के लिए बहुत आसान हो गया है. सो उस टाइम पे when we used to go to the colleges or the corporates, they'll say online education, दिवस कौन पढ़ता है ऑनलाइन, जब तक सामने की बात ना हो ना वो दिल से बात नहीं हो पाती है. ठीक है सर. Years passed and last 2 years the game changed. My area of operation in terms of business was majorly Delhi NCR. All the corporates and universities is area mein. I never thought of traveling to extreme parts of this country. Yes, I did some freelance sessions across the states in this country, but did not travel to all the places. Last 2 years, I have a community of people as young as 7-year-old to 73-year-old, CXOs to students, everyone from Ladakh to Assam to Kerala to Gujarat, length and breadth. That's because of technology. So again, if you are like losing on it कि नहीं humans should overpower, वो हमें overpower कर जाएंगे, that fear, you're losing on it. Take it as an assistance. You're gonna do wonders for yourself. That's how you run the business, sir.
Okay, if I can briefly add, what I think is that, see, to make a successful business, one of the basic mantras, even an investor is really looking for that when they are looking at a business, is product market fit, right? Ki the product is something that the market is looking for. अक्सर career guidance के साथ क्या होता है कि it's a nice to have product, right? And what the market is looking for is test prep, admissions counseling, right? So only when you have a product market fit do you really have a business model. वरना हमारा, then it's nice to have कि हम आपकी ज़िंदगी better करना चाह रहे हैं, इसलिए हम आके आपको ये देना चाह रहे हैं, right? So in my case, what I did is that when I got into admissions counseling, and Surbhi, I totally resonate with you that I got into it with a lot of reluctance, saying, ये नहीं मुझे करना कि लोगों को बाहर भेजना है. But actually when I got into it, I realized that what parents want is, yes, to help the kid find the path, and then what? So now how do I choose a course? Now how do I go to college? So it's actually a continuum. It's a whole story. And for that, there was a product market fit, right? So if once you find the product market fit, then it's about just being the best at your work, people getting to know you, क्योंकि वो market तो already thriving है, फिर आपकी business बन जाएगी. So that product market fit is my mantra really.
Okay, my first question is to you, Richa, of course, related to what you just said. Admissions counseling, yeah, product market fit, and that's probably the reason I'm here, though I like working with the youth. I started with life skills, but I realized this is where the market is looking for. So now the dilemma, I'll tell you what I face as an admissions counselor is, a parent comes and says, आप कर दीजिए सब, मेरा बच्चा कुछ नहीं करेगा. This is the market. क्योंकि मेरा बच्चा तो उसके पास टाइम ही नहीं है, क्योंकि मुझे उसको जेईई की कोचिंग भी करानी है, मुझे उसको यूएस के एडमिशन की भी तैयारी करानी है, तो जेईई की कोचिंग तो वो कर लेगा, बाकी आप एसएस भी लिख दीजिए, कॉलेजेस ढूंढ दीजिए, कोर्सेज, कुछ नहीं होता, कंप्यूटर साइंस जाएगा कर लेगा. Now how do you deal with that?
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so every year we have, that type of a kid falls in either one of two brackets. Either, the parents want the kid to get into an IV, and unfortunately, बच्चे की, if to say it in as bluntly as possible, कि उसकी औकात नहीं है, मगर parents कह रहे हैं कि इसको तो आप इसका हार्वर्ड में कैसे करा सकते हो. So my mantra is authenticity, कि जी हम तो नहीं करा सकते. कि आपका बच्चा अगर हार्वर्ड जाने लायक है तो हम उसको बहुत 10 तरीके से सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं, पर जी करना आपने. So it's to some extent it's risking business, and I've known competitors to pick up a kid saying कि हम ये प्रोजेक्ट करवा देंगे, रिसर्च पेपर लिखवा देंगे, and like I tell them कि रिसर्च पेपर लिखना कोई आसान काम नहीं होता है. इंडिया में रिसर्च मेंटोर्स बहुत कम है. हमने कुछ मेंटोर्स क्यूरेट करके डेवलप करे, पर आपको लगता है कि आपका स्टेम में बच्चा आके फिजिक्स का रिसर्च का पेपर लिख लेगा. इट्स अ वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स थिंग, एंड देन दे विल आस्क कि क्या आप इंटर्नशिप लगवा सकते हो. तो आई टेल देम कि हम इंटर्नशिप नहीं लगवाते हैं. हाँ, मैंने कुछ बच्चों के लिए एक्चुअली कॉल अप करके इंटर्नशिप लगवाई है, बट दैट्स नॉट माई प्रॉमिस. My promise is to help you find your network from your parents' LinkedIn and help you build a CV, help you learn to get what internship, and then how do you leverage it in your essays. आप essays लिखते हैं नहीं, हम essays लिखते नहीं हैं, हम multiple edits करते हैं, हम so it's risking losing some clients, but there is a big market of authentic people and authentic parents. So frankly, where we've settled as an organization is, you know, sort of what I would like to very bluntly again call the above average kid. You know, that great kid, वो बहुत पेरेंट्स भी फोकस्ड हैं, कोई बहुत ज़्यादा पुश भी नहीं कर रहा है, बिल्कुल छोड़ भी नहीं दिया है, यू नो, बिकॉज देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ जेलिंग, दे वांट सपोर्ट बट दे वांट देयर किड टू डू स्टफ. सो आई थिंक आइदर एट द टॉप एक्सट्रीम वेयर दे सेइंग इसको किसी तरह से आईवी में ठेल दो, दैट्स अ कॉम्प्लेक्स मार्केट बिकॉज यू नो दे आर वेरी डिमांडिंग एंड दे थिंक कि काउंसलर को सब करना चाहिए. या वो जो बिल्कुल बॉटम वाला मार्केट है कि आपने खुद ही कभी बच्चे को पुश नहीं किया पढ़ने के लिए, उसके ग्रेड्स भी नहीं आ रहे और आप कह रहे हो कि जी आप ही उसका ऐसे भी लिख दो, दैट्स अगेन अ टफर मार्केट. एंड फ्रैंकली उन बच्चों का मैंने समटाइम्स वन डे बिफोर द डेडलाइन ऐसे लिखा भी है कि अब क्या करोगे, क्या वो नहीं यू नो सबमिट करेगा क्योंकि वो तो लिख ही नहीं रहा. हाँ मैम, अच्छा मैम मुझसे नहीं हो रहा. तो यू नो, बट दैट्स अ टफर मार्केट. इट्स द मिड मार्केट विच इज द बिग मार्केट एंड दैट्स आई थिंक वेयर द मैक्सिमम प्ले इज, frankly.
Okay, so one last question before we wrap the panel here.
Thank you first of all. So we are like young minds learning a lot of things today. First time attending. So my only question was that hearing from both of you, as both of you are the face of the companies, like people know more, like you were saying that your name was very difficult to know, like Divash you were saying, my company's name was not known, but my name was more popular first. Then now people very often or very commonly know your name. So what do you think